radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. How you doing? Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. That's right. Today's Thursday, November 1st. We made it, 2018. 308 days into the new year, just 57 days left. We're live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? It's Thursday night. And tonight's a very special broadcast, very important one. We're switching things around a little bit this week. That's right. Tonight, our guest is Adrian Vallera. Our old friend, Adrienne Valera, is here to tell us about the Washington, D.C. DisclosureFest mass meditation, which is going down in less than 2 weeks, about 10 days, on 11/11 at 11/11 on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. And tonight, this is what we're going to do. Now, get ready, okay? We've got 6 guests tonight. We have Adrian. We have Richard Yiap here. I can't wait. Richard's amazing. We have from Brazil, musician Poranguí is going to be here. Clifford Mahooty is going to be here. Billy Carson is going to be here. And Michael Salla, Dr. Michael Salla, is going to be right here all night long. So get ready. That is an evening, and thank you, Rita and Adrian, for putting this very, very special event together. And now, if you are going to be in the Washington, D.C. area, you live out there, you're on the East Coast, and you guys are always going, hey, man, right? Hey, man, East Coast, man, we get ignored, man. What about the East Coast? This is humongo. This is a very big deal. And it's right there, Washington, D.C. So make your plans. All you have to do is go to DisclosureFest.org. DisclosureFest.org. The links are right there at jimmychurchradio.com. Click the amount of speakers, presentations, tents, activities, things that are going on there. It's a full day of absolute joy, fun, knowledge. It's going down in Washington, D.C. on 11/11. Lincoln Memorial. There you go. Have you been to the Lincoln Memorial? All of the talk Washington, D.C., how it was built. It's built on a grid, man. The Freemasons, this. Have you seen the giant pentagram on how the streets are laid out, and this ends here and that? Okay, put all of that aside. Okay, just push all of that aside. Go to the Lincoln Memorial. Just go, and from there, where you've got the Washington Monument, and you can see you can see everything from right there. But you got the mirror pools. You walk up those steps, and you go up to Lincoln, sitting in the chair, and read the walls, and just stand there. And you tell me you're not emotionally affected, man. It is amazing, Washington D.C. And of course, heading over to, I don't know what they call that square where all the museums are, the Library of Congress and the Smithsonian, all of the Smithsonians, and walk around and visit all of that is there, everything but, the Bible Museum. You can skip that. But it is incredible. Washington, D.C. is a pretty incredible place. And so if you've never visited, here's your reason to go. Right? Because they're going to cleanse the darkness out of that city on 11/11 with this mass meditation. So again, tonight here, Adrian Vallera, Richard Yiap is going to be here. Poranguí is going to be here. Clifford Mahooty, Billy Carson, and Michael Salla, all tonight right here on Fade to Black. So get ready. Now, also Monday. Big show on Monday, but big announcements are coming on Monday too as well. So you're not going to want to miss Monday and the week that we've got lined up next week. But we've got really big announcements that are happening on Monday. I promised you some stuff last night on the show. Going to follow through. Monday's a big show. Don't miss it. Oh, man, River Moon Coffee. Oh, man. All right. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do on Twitter, at JChurchRadio. And you can go, of course, we have Facebook. We have our radio page. You can go like us over there. We have YouTube. You can go subscribe to our YouTube page over there. Any questions or comments, you can use hashtag F2BQ and Twitter. If you want to hang out with the conversations, we have 2 chat rooms open, one over at Spreaker, one over at KGRA The Planet. Very simple. If you want to join in on the sandbox on Twitter, that is hashtag F2B. You can also email throughout the show, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. That's right. It's just $2 per month. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the podcast banner, and there you go. So all the apps that you want or need are there. And you just go over to the Google Store or the Apple Store and get the apps that you need. And subscribe over at Libsyn. It's very, very simple. And over 900 archive shows right there. 940. Over 940 shows right there archived for you. You can also become a Fade or Not over at our membership section of jimmychurchradio.com. Again, big news coming on Monday. So get ready. Go over to the membership section. You can become a Fade or Not, become a game changer. You get the autographed shirts and hats. You also will get a private email to me, which is really cool. You get the bunker cam, which is really cool. And you can get downloadable, commercial-free archives of this show. Okay? All right. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Chili Pepper frontman Anthony Kiedis is 56 years old. Jenny McCarthy today is 46. Jenny McCarthy's funny. She's just funny. What was that movie called? Dirty Love. That's a funny movie. You got to open it up if you want to see something funny. That's what you go check out. Anthony Kiedis, I think. Yeah, man, it's hard to believe we're the same age. I always felt older than Anthony. I think Anthony went to Fairfax High School, and I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he went to Fairfax High School, as did everybody in the rock and roll scene. Everybody at the Sunset Strip seemed like went to Fairfax High School. Right? Everybody went to Fairfax. Across the street from Cantor's Deli. And that's what all those rockers did, too. They did. They would get out of school, skip school, go down to Canner's, and get a pastrami. But there you go. Happy birthday, Anthony, today, 56 years old. On this day in history, 1952, the first large hydrogen bomb is tested by the United States. The bomb, codenamed Mike, was part of Operation Ivy and was tested in the Marshall Islands on this day in 1952. Fader fact. Now, this is, okay, you know, I love doing the Fader facts. And one of the things, there's like 5 reasons that Fader facts are cool. One of them is that I want you to expand your knowledge base. That's 1. 2, I want you to be able to drop these on somebody the next day. You've got to just drop these on somebody the next day. And the Fader fact today is one of those. Okay, so let me give it to you. The X in airport codes is just filler. That's right. When 3-letter airport codes became the standard throughout the world, airports that have been using just 2-letter codes simply filled in the blank. They added an X, like LAX. There's no conspiracy here, darn it. You know, there's nothing crazy. They just, right? What is, you know, like Phoenix or whatever, you know, isn't it Phoenix like PDX, right? Burbank is BUR. And I always, you know, wondered about that. What LAX? LAX. What's going on with that? Lax. Right? Well, now you know. And I can guarantee you none of your friends do, but you do. So now you're armed, and now you can go and drop that knowledge. The X is just filler. LAX. There you go. All right. Tonight, Adrian Vallera is here. Adrian is amazing. He's absolutely amazing. And his DisclosureFest, which is one of the big events here in Los Angeles, not only for ufology and the conspiracy communities, because that we're a small part of what DisclosureFest is, but the entire awakening community, right? That entire, which is huge, and that is a big event here in Los Angeles. But Adrian, that he does that, but he's feeding the homeless. He's planting trees. He is cleaning beaches. He is doing stuff all the time. And if you ever want to do something really cool and go out, not only for the community, but for yourself and your friends and the environment, go to DisclosureFest.org. Check it out. And then go and hang out and go and do something. All right? That's what Adrian does. Adrian is one of the heroes. Okay? And now he has taken it upon himself to go and do a mass meditation in Washington, D.C. At the Lincoln Memorial. And putting this event together, you look at the speakers that he has got lined up from across the spectrum. The talent and the music and the healing and everything that he puts together, these are huge, huge events. And he gets everybody involved, the press and the local media, and he gets the local and state governments involved. Just like here in Los Angeles, he's got the state of California backing him up. He's got the county of Los Angeles. He's got the city of L.A. and putting on an event in the middle of downtown Los Angeles like he has pulled off. It's extraordinary, and he's one of the best. So tonight, again, just like the events that he has pulled off, he has set up, along with Rita, an absolutely amazing show tonight to let everybody know what he's doing out there in Washington, D.C., the mass meditation. So tonight we have Richard Yiap here. Richard was with us a couple of years ago, and what an amazingly smart guy. So there's that part of Richard. But the other half, what Richard does, right, is a big part of this event. So Richard will be up with us first. We've got Brazilian musician, one of the best in the world, tonight with us. Poranguí is here. We've got Clifford Mahooty here tonight. Billy Carson is going to be joining us, and also Michael Salla. And that's a small part of the lineup. We couldn't bring on 50 people tonight, but we brought on 6. Thank you, Adrian, for putting this together. And so that's our show tonight. At the bottom of the hour, Adrienne Valera is going to join us, and then we're going to go right through all of this tonight and bring everybody out to have an amazing time. All right? There you go. Oh, okay, so now let me hit this coffee. I'm getting warmed up. You know, you just know, right, when I hit that coffee, right? PDX is Portland. See? Why? See, that's even wrong. Just for the sake of accuracy, PDX is Portland. Oh, man. I just flew into there, too. And I knew it. I knew it. PDX is Portland. Who would have thought? See, that doesn't even make any sense. Shouldn't it be something else? Portlandia. But I guess PD, yeah. Okay. I get it, Karen. Thank you for that, though. Okay. Thank you for that, for clarity. When I hit that coffee, you know I'm ready to go. And how far we have come. Ufology. We've come a long way. Ufology has really, really changed over the years, but especially the last decade. And I mentioned the other night about how much we have learned about our universe in the last 70, 80 years, right? Big jump. 1929. That was a very big year. And, you know, when you have Galileo and Copernicus and some of these other really big seminal moments throughout history, you know, guys going to jail, burned at the stake, that kind of stuff. Over spreading the knowledge. And what has happened since then has been incredible. It's a big jump. Big jump in knowledge. And in the last decade, we've seen the biggest changes of all. And last night, you know, and I do this every single. I'm studying every day. I'm just studying, and I'm not a physicist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not professionally, you know, applied to that kind of stuff. But I study, and I study all the great physicists. I do, and I'm doing it on my own. But I am acquiring their knowledge, and at least the parts of it that I can understand. And I don't know math. You know, I don't know those crazy complex equations, you know, that get written out that take up huge chalkboards full of stuff. I don't understand that. But they can break it down for me, and they can explain to me what all of these numbers and letters and symbols mean, right? Okay, all of this means, okay, and I absorb that. And what has happened in the last decade with the knowledge of our universe and our planets and gravity, it's incredible. But with that, so goes ufology. We've had the same dramatic changes with ufology in the last 10 years than we've had in the entire history of UFOs and aliens and ET and visitations. The last 10 years has been absolutely incredible. And because I have always been knee-deep in it, and I've always studied it, I've had the same access to information as everybody else. I've watched the same movies and documentaries and read the same books and watched the same interviews and read the same magazines as anybody else, all the same websites. And to see the changes that have gone down with ufology in the last 10 years, it's just astounding. You go back and watch, and you should do this. I do this all the time. Go back and watch a documentary or a film or read a book that is 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. Go and do it. And the way that they described things back then is fascinating. The same things were going down in the skies, on the ground. That happens today. How they dealt with it and how they explained it, totally different. Today, we understand so much more. And it's just like the universe. When you look up at the stars today, it's the same stars that they were looking at 500 years ago, 10,000 years ago. Same stars. They didn't understand. Today, we know, and this is what is incredible. Today, we know that we have a universe that is full of galaxies and that it is expanding and moving. Just 70 years ago, we thought everything up there was just stars. That was it. Just stars. There was only one galaxy. And then we thought that there were thousands of galaxies, right? Hundreds and then thousands. And the numbers, you need to understand how complex this is. Today, it's an infinite number. The number that they throw out today is 400 billion galaxies, with each one containing 100 billion stars or more. Chew on that. Most of that knowledge, all of it has come since 1929, but most of those numbers that I'm throwing out there right now to you, the last 10 years. And if you go and listen to a physicist, a cosmologist, anybody from 15 years ago, their numbers were a tenth of that they were talking about. It's the same thing in ufology. Because now, today, we have things like night vision. Night vision. And we didn't deal with that 20 years ago, 30 years ago. The concept of grabbing night vision goggles, first off, the technology wasn't there, right? But the concept of grabbing night vision and looking up and seeing something in the sky and trying to explain it and figuring out what it is, we didn't have that ability. Today, we have night vision. And some of the stuff that you see up there is explainable, right? It could be the X-37B at some 150-mile orbit, and it could be flying around, whatever. There's that part of it. Then there's the other stuff that you simply can't explain, where it's not ours, right? So there's that. Think about how far we have come. Because if you look back at Roswell and the innocence of Roswell and how it was explained and wasn't explained and then re-explained and so forth, and how society looked at it and was trying to explain it and trying to figure it out. We had the descriptions of flying saucers that started in 1947. Flying saucers, right? Metal craft, flying around, which are probably still here today. I've seen some pretty crazy stuff, and they were very saucer-ish, right? Flying saucers, rivets, right? Beings on board flying, because back then we didn't have another way to explain it away. And back in 1929, they didn't have a reason to explain away what they were seeing up in the sky. That's right. When Edwin Hubble looked up, they saw these little fuzzy things up there. They didn't even know how to explain it. They actually called them fuzzy things, right? They thought it was gases and stuff. They were galaxies, but that they didn't have the knowledge. Today we understand that, and it's the same thing with ufology. Cigar-shaped craft out there being seen. We had no way to wrap our mind around that. Today we have a better understanding. Black triangles, which can be attributed to a lot of different things. Our technology, maybe somebody else's, don't know. But black triangles didn't just start in Belgium. And I've seen them. I've photographed them. Here's a picture right here. There's a picture of my black triangle. There it is. Take a look at that. That's nuts, right? Black triangles were photographed over Phoenix in 1947, way before the TR-3B became a thing, way before the F-117 stealth fighter. But we didn't have a way to explain it. We simply didn't. Today, black triangles, now we look at them and understand things like anti-gravity, right? We understand the concepts of propulsion and the possibility of it being our craft, or it could be ET, or a combination of both. Plasmaspheres. Understanding even what plasma is was difficult 50 years ago. Today, we fully understand it and the possibilities of how it can be applied, right? These are things that we understand today that we never understood before. And it was a ball of light. I saw a ball of light. No concept of how to explain that or what we were seeing. We had no idea, but today we can. Interdimensional aspects of all of this. Didn't have a grip on that 50 years ago. Not even close. Today, because of the descriptions of parallel worlds and quantum mechanics and quantum theory, the multiverse, a question of something being interdimensional or possibly traveling across this not only our galaxy but throughout the universe is something that we can easily grasp now. The speed of light is cool, but it's not a necessary thing, and we understand this. Wormholes and that concept of folding space and what that meant. There was no discussion. We didn't have any idea. These theories and the mechanics of it are something that we discuss openly today in science. And applying all of that to ufology, all of us in ufology that study it today, we get these things. And we seriously, when we see, well, that could be interdimensional. It wasn't over there. It just appeared. Wow, that's weird. Oh, that's a plasma graph. Okay, that's metal. That we have ways of discussing it. Think about that. We have gone step for step with science. And the way that we understand and feel about our bodies and consciousness and interdimensional beings and space travel and visitors and channeling and concepts in the electric universe, all of this are things that we understand today. This is the most exciting times for ufology, for all of our theories, for all of our ideas. So think about that. All right? This is Fade to Black. These are good days. These are really good days. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Going to take a quick break. We're going to kick off this amazing evening first with Adrian Vallera. And you got to get ready. We've got a very, very busy night tonight because Adrian's going to be here. Richard Yiap is going to be here. Poranguí is going to be here. Clifford Mahooty, Billy Carson, and Michael Salla, all tonight on Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. That's right, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back with Adrian Vallera. Stay with me.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe.
Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Times are changing. The circus of politics, healthcare's low standards and high prices, and let's not forget food quality. What to do? Arm yourself with Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. In a world of chemical imbalance and poor air and water quality, it's time you make a move. Log on to getthetea.com and stock up on organic non-GMO supplements. Don't forget the tea. Cleansing your body never felt so good. And we have a brand new tea called Takedown Tea, which helps support healthy glucose. All natural body support so you can be at your best, naturally. All you have to do is log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. We're not a fad that comes and goes. We are the real deal. Join us and armor up. Getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Changing America's health one tea bag at a time.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church. And whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Yeah. Fade to Black. Love saying Fade to Black, especially on a Thursday night. And it gets even better when I have Adrian Vallera with us. DisclosureFest and what it has meant to this community, it is just extraordinary. Washington, D.C., 11/11. It is going down, and I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black our good friend, Adrian Vallera. Adrian, good evening. How are you?
Yo, Jimmy, what up? Thanks for having me on.
Man, you're the best.
It's going to be a fun show.
You're the best, man.
I'm the best?
You're the best. I don't know how you pull this off, but you know what? I want to expose you to, I'm going to throw you under the bus to our community, right? Now, you know, Adrian, you know that this show is about UFOs, time travel, lost history, conspiracy, the Great Awakening, consciousness. That's what we do here. But we also do two other things, the rock and roll and the food, right? So we combine all of that, and that's what we do here. But you do the very same thing, don't you? You're a rock and roller. Tell everybody how rock and roll. Tell everybody how rock and roll. Adrian and I last month we're just talking on the phone, just about things, and the next thing you know, we started to figure out a few things about each other that we kind of already knew, but we've got some mutual friends in the rock and roll world that, and you were like, dude, I'll make phone calls right now. I'm like, Adrian.
Well,
and I
we got a special Fade to Black broadcast night at one of your favorite places in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Whenever you want.
Yeah.
I told you.
We
can get done.
Yeah, I know. I'm so impressed with that. You are a rock and roller, my man. You are a rock and roller. So now here, let's. We've got a very, very, very busy night tonight set up. For you, this is just a walk in the park because you are constantly putting together these amazing events. And DisclosureFest, this past one in Los Angeles, unbelievable event. It was just extraordinary on all fronts. And now you decided that you wanted to take this of all places to Washington D.C. Now, is Washington D.C. prepared to be cleansed, right? Are they prepared? Are they prepared for enlightenment? Is that why you've chosen the Lincoln Memorial for this?
DC's always been on the mind. Like since we started this with Jeremy and I back a few years ago, like we always said, like there's a few places that keep coming through in meditation. DC's one of them. And yes, I know that it is ready, and it's very ready to be cleansed and charged and just filled with light. It's an amazing place. You were mentioning it earlier when you started the show. It's actually like such a beautiful, epic place. I mean, when you're standing in these monuments, it's epic.
It is
legendary.
It is. It is
so monumental.
It
is. Doing it. I just, what? When we thought about this, we were looking at a bunch of different spots, and one of the spots came.
A bunch of different.
To do this on the mall.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A bunch of different spots in Washington D.C. is what you're saying.
Right on the mall, like
right.
in front of the Capitol.
Right.
Literally in the back lawn of the White House. We were literally going to do it there. The thing is, and you're like literally staring at the White House during DisclosureFest. We're like, this is perfect. But then if POTUS wants to take a trip to go get some sushi, they cancel the festival. So we're like, no, we can't do it there because it's just too anything. If his son wants to play soccer, they literally hold up the whole festival. So it's like, let's look at some more spots. And then the steps of the Lincoln Memorial just appeared, and we're like, what? Got to do it.
When you, I remember one time I'm in Washington D.C. I've been there probably 5 or 6 times. Okay, and so I don't particularly remember what trip this was, but we were at the end of the field behind the White House, and if everybody, you need to kind of know the layout of Washington D.C., but when you're behind the White House, so we're standing out there with some friends, and Marine 1 and Marine 2 came in and landed on that field, right next to the White House, and I'm low too, and we're watching. They kind of circled around, and that's not even the story. That's not even what was impactful about it. What is impactful about it is when you see that, you realize this is Washington D.C. This is what goes down there. And it was really, really trippy to see that go down. And we just stood there and watched. I don't think the president or anything stepped out. I can't remember. It was pretty far away. But yeah, it's epic. Everywhere you turn there, just like you're saying, everywhere you turn, it's just epic. Jefferson, Lincoln, Washington, the square, the entire mall. With all of the museums and the things that are there, it's extraordinary, and it's a very small city, so it's just all anywhere you want to walk, there's something going on.
Right, it was built with a purpose, man. It was just built with a purpose, and that's what we're doing there. Reverse the purpose.
Reverse the purpose. You should use that. You need to write that down.
Slogan, TV slogan?
Yeah, you need to write that down. Don't let that one get away from you. That's a T-shirt. Hey, Rita, we need to trademark reverse the purpose before Adrian does. That's really well done. Now, okay, so is the idea behind DisclosureFest and the mass meditation in Washington, D.C., are you taking the template of what you did out here in Los Angeles? Take us through that really quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally the same thing. So DisclosureFest, as you all know, is an initiative and community-based nonprofit. So we do our initiatives. The Mass Meditation Initiative is a festival. So that's going to be on 11/11, and I'll get to it. But also on 11/8 at Franklin Square Park, we're doing Feed Our Souls initiative, which we're going to feed a few hundred of our homeless brothers and sisters. We're going to hold space, do some meditation. On 11/9, we're doing a beach and river cleanup with our partners Ocean Conservancy and National Park Services. And we're going to do Jones Point Park in Alexandria. It's right on the Potomac. This place, I was there a few weeks ago, and it is filthy. We're going to probably do like 200 huge bags of trash right out of the river. And then on the 10th, we're bringing the Clean Air Initiative, which is we're going to do 111 trees in Lady Bird Johnson Park, which is Columbia Island. It's gorgeous property. And with our partners, National Parks and KC Trees. And KC Trees has been doing this over there for a minute, and they're amazing. And we're just fortunate to be able to join this group and bring the Clean Air Initiative, plant 111 trees in such a historic place. And then obviously 11/11 is a celebration after we be of service and do the Mass Meditation Initiative. And it's the same thing. I mean, we're bringing that festival you were at in L.A., it's in D.C. I mean, we're going to have, there's 5 workshop tents, there's a main stage right on the steps. You ever, right, we got the Forrest Gump stage set up.
I stood, every time I've gone to Washington, D.C., I've gone to the Lincoln Memorial and stood at the steps and faced the pools, right? And it is about as dramatic. It's emotional, man. It's emotional, and to think that you guys have got this festival going on right there, it's that's it. That's the spot in the entire country. Now, were you able to get any politicians behind this? Did you reach out to them? It seems like it's the perfect thing for them to join in on the community.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet. I mean, they're more than welcome, and it'd be fun. Get them in a sound bath.
get Paul Ryan, right?
Oh, he needs a sound bath right there. Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm gonna get this going here with Richard. So let's we're gonna bring Richard in here in just a second, and because. Can you imagine? I was thinking about this. If you were doing this at the Capitol, and the senators and the Congress, they have to walk by you, right? So grabbing somebody and pulling them in and forcing them into a crystal healing, right? Some sound.
Ooh, there you go.
Some sound healing. I think we've got him here, Richard Yap. Richard, how are you, man?
Hello, Jimmy. Wonderful, thank you.
Man, so good to hear your voice. How are you?
Fabulous. And I'm not sure whether you know, but I'm staying with Adrian in his house to help him prepare for D.C.
Are you helping him with his laundry? Because when I stayed there, I stayed with Adrian for a while, but he said it was cool, but I had to do his laundry.
Well, I didn't do his laundry. I I did his T-shirts. His tie-dye T-shirts.
Yes.
I was bringing them up for him in the sink.
See, I'm telling you, nothing's free in this world, is it, Richard?
Of course not.
Except for DisclosureFest.
Except for DisclosureFest. Oh, man. So, Richard, are you excited? This is a pretty big event. Now, you've been part of DisclosureFest out here in L.A., right, for the last 2 years.
That's correct.
And now you're going to help out and get with it out there in Washington, D.C. What are you going to be doing?
Well, I'm actually doing a number of things. I'm spiritually overseeing the whole thing, number one. Number two, I'm doing a lot of admin project management for Adrian to take stuff off his plate. Number three, I'm doing a talk and bringing my light and a couple of my people to run light sessions free for the people.
Are you going to be doing all of that? Now, for the audience, Richard left a 22-year career in corporate management to join our community. And not only are you a mind mapping trainer, you're the creator of quantum mapping, you're an NLP master, you're an international public speaker. You've got all of this behind you, but you left the corporate world for us, Richard, and thank you for that. But we get your knowledge and your intelligence from all of that, and you blended the two together, haven't you?
That is correct, and the two blend together incredibly well. And blending the two worlds together is part of the ascension of oneness.
And tell us about that. And you are going to be firing up the grids out there of the sacred sites and these grids that are all over Washington, D.C. This is part of your project.
Yes, it's a life mission. Doing that, my beautiful partner, whom you met, Sian and myself, we were recently in Yellowstone in July. Now, you know that Yellowstone is this super volcano caldera.
Yes.
And there is plenty of information from scientists about how big and bad acid is. And when it blows, it's not going to be funny.
No. I like the way you just described it. Because it is. Go ahead, Richard.
What I was going to say was in July, we went to Teton and Yellowstone for a holiday, and I was guided to put a new light grid in Yellowstone. So I went to 3 specific locations in the caldera, and I put crystals from mass meditation in L.A. into 3 specific places, did my rituals, created a new light grid, connected that light grid to the light star, and my ET brothers tell me now that supervolcano caldera is not, I repeat, not going to blow.
Thank you for that. And you know what? Check this out, Richard. We get these very frightening fear porn news releases out, about Yellowstone every couple of months, right? Oh, it's active again. Here we go. Wouldn't it be great if the next press release is science don't know what's, science doesn't, they don't understand, but Yellowstone is chilling out, right?
Well, actually, I had breakfast with a friend of mine in Sarasota before I came here, and she is an earthquake watcher.
Right.
And she made the remark to me over breakfast that, gosh, it's so funny that the activity in Yellowstone has died down. I don't know what happened. And then I explained to her what happened, and she smiled.
So the crystals were charged here in Los Angeles.
That's absolutely correct. So that's one thing. And then Sian and I were in Germany at a very special sacred site called Lake Constance in the Bodense area. So we took crystals from Los Angeles and placed them at 3 specific islands on that lake itself.
Mm-hmm.
Did an activation down there. Now, this is all part of our work in going around the planet on the Arcturian planetary crystalline tree of life for planetary healing. There's 12 sites there. So we're halfway through that right now. And we're seeing amazing things happen as a result of that work. We also went to We also went to the Glastonbury Tor. Now, I'm not sure whether you're aware, but the Glastonbury Tor is supposed to be the heart chakra of the Earth.
Yes.
So we went there and did a light journey, did activation, put some crystals from Los Angeles Mass Meditation there as well, and connected a light star. And here's something amazing. We did a light journey there, and we had someone who came with us who does dowsing. He taught dowsing at the workshop where we were staying.
Right.
So he came along for the ride and experience, and he checked the level of the energy with his dowsing before and after. After what we did, the energy went up by a factor of 5 times.
What is it? I mentioned this as the show was opening today, Richard. Science has advanced so much in the last 50 years. I mean, we have, but so has our community too, as well. As science progresses, so does our community and our technology and our knowledge. And you, with the work that you do, which is all scientifically based too, as well. Are you seeing the same advancements in our community, our understanding of how all of this works?
Well, what's happening is absolutely correct because, people have different levels of perspectives. So your perspective is a vision or picture or your model of the world. And then as you increase in knowledge and as you shift in consciousness, as you connect more dots, that picture grows and grows and grows. And once you can actually expand your vision, your consciousness, and you can tap into the esoteric area of nothingness of Source Creator, then you can actually have a cosmic view of what's going on. And from... Go on.
Yeah, because you also mentioned our ET brothers. And I really feel, I see it, and I want our community to understand where I'm coming here, that we're starting to understand our friends out there in our galaxy and in this universe like never before. Part of that has to do with our understanding of science. But we know so much more today, especially in the last 10 years, than we've ever known about what's going on out there with our friends.
That's very true. And there's plenty of them out there looking after us.
And are we... I don't want, Richard, and I know you understand this, but I don't want us to feel that we are depending on our ET brothers and sisters to come and save us. That's the wrong way to look at it, isn't it?
That's correct. Actually, the better way to look at it is that they are partnering with us, and we are partnering with them. They need us, and we need them.
Yeah, it's not a good place for us to think that we can just go and get crazy here, and then somebody's just going to come along and save us, so nothing matters. It's actually the opposite, right?
Correct. We have to do our part, and they're doing their part. Now, the ascension of this planet and humanity from the third or fifth dimension requires us to do our part. We got to get our act together. There's things that we need to do that they can't do in terms of this whole thing. And then there's things that they need to do as part of this whole thing in terms of the shift that we can't do. So it's about us partnering with them. It's not about dependency. It's about working together.
After Washington, D.C., what are you and Cian out there doing next?
Well, what we're doing next is we go back home, have a holiday in Perth. Then next year, we've got 3 big things on the table next year. We're going to Istanbul in Turkey, and we're doing an activation there. And we've now been led to a beautiful site on the southwest of the country. And so we're doing an activation there, and then we need to go to South America, to Argentina and Brazil. National Park down there, do those 2 sites. And then in the same trip, cover Cooper Canyon in Mexico. So that's on our agenda next year. And then 2020 is Mount Fuji.
Oh, there you go. There you go. You guys are busy, and your website, everybody can reach out to you there, right? LuciaLight.com?
Yeah.
So
that's the one that we use for our light work and so on.
Absolutely. So anybody that needs to reach out to you and contact you, they can go straight to lucialight.com.
That's correct. They can get me from there.
Richard,
and those people that come to D.C., I'll be pleased to talk to them.
I can't wait. And you guys have a great time out there. It's going to be a lot of work. There's a lot to do, but there isn't a better place that needs help. And I should also close with one thing. I'm doing a very special talk, the first time ever, from desire to destiny. Desire is what we want. Destiny is what we're meant to do and leave on this planet. You're such an effective speaker, and I enjoy hanging out with you and seeing so much. And just thank you for everything that you have done for this community, Richard. You know that. You're a friend. You're part of this family. But thank you so much, and safe travels.
The pleasure's mine. My honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Richard Yiap, and his website, it's very simple. It's Lucia, Lucia, lucialight.com. So there you go. Thank you for that, Adrian. Adrian, you stay right there. Adrian's going to be with us all night.
All right.
So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. And who do we have up next, Adrian?
That's a Rita question.
That's a Rita question. That's a your question. Do you need me to tell you who's up next?
I think you do.
Okay. Coming up next is Clifford Mahooty. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with Clifford. Adrienne Valera is going to stay right there. This is Fade to Black, our DisclosureFest special event, Washington, D.C., 11/11. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied, but you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official FADERNIGHT by just going to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger You know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Great night tonight on the show. We have Adrian Vallera with us. DisclosureFest, Washington, D.C., the mass meditation going down on 11/11. I want to thank Richard Yiap for coming in tonight. And later on, we are going to have Poranguí. He's going to be here at the bottom of the hour. We've got Billy Carson coming in later on tonight. And, of course, Dr. Michael Salla will all be here. But up next, Adrian, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Adrian's right there. Adrian, just like Disclosure Fest, this is a warm-up for the big event in Washington, D.C. You've got to do 3 hours of straight radio tonight, man. So, find that energy.
I got my water bottle.
Yeah, you do.
I'm good to go.
And some vegan coconut chips, right?
Some coconut bacon.
Yeah, coconut bacon. Oh, man. And now joining us, one of our favorite people on this planet, the one and only Clifford Mahooty. Clifford, good evening, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing real good. Glad to be with you, folks.
Hey, Clifford.
Nobody.
Hello.
Yeah, we got you, Clifford. Nobody brightens up a room like Clifford Mahooty, man. I'll be standing there. I've got 50 people around me, and everything is just like whatever. Clifford walks in the room, everybody's yelling and screaming and happy. Clifford does that. Clifford, when did you figure out you had that spark?
Oh, I guess since I was a little kid. So it's been like that. I love to see people laugh and be happy.
That's it. You know what? And you've always said that, and not only to me, but everybody that's around you. You've got to be happy. And for you, Clifford, you're going to be going out there to Washington, D.C. for the mass meditation, and you're going to be doing a lot of things out there, but one of them involves water. Tell us about that.
Well, water is very important to, as we all know, for our life activity. And one of the things that we'll be presenting out there is a water ceremony, which all Indian tribes, Native American Indian tribes, go through in their own rituals and in their culture and their ways, because that's the primary source of life. And all Indian tribes have a ritual that we all go through. And so, especially us out here in the Southwest, we depend on the rain for just about everything, growth of our food, and also our building construction, and also the rituals that we go through from birth to death. When a baby is born, they wash him, and throughout the years when that person is growing up, the aunties always have to wash him. It's sort of like a baptismal type thing. And even to the day when he goes into the next world, the aunties are the ones that prepare him, and they wash him in water. So it's and we're matriarchal, matrilineal, so we have to be very nice to our female people. Otherwise, they will not provide us that type of luxury.
Tell me about the ceremony itself. Is this a traditional ceremony? And do you think that anybody's ever done anything like this in Washington, D.C.?
I don't think so. Not that I have seen anybody. I used to work in Washington, and I've been quite involved with it since I was about 20 years old, back during the Johnson administration. But I don't remember any activity, because the American Indian used to be very part of the whole effort way back, starting about the Kennedy administration, that I'm aware of. But I don't remember anybody doing that type of ritual, because at that time, we were not really allowed to go to Washington, the American Indians. And so since that time, because of the concern for the planet, we all have started to address those things at all our rituals and ceremonies, and of course all meeting types.
And tell us about the ceremony that you're going to be doing.
Well, from what I understand, we're going to go over there and we're going to talk about the American Indian and what they have gone through the last 500 years. But my part would be to, and not only me, but there's others, especially from the East Coast tribes. I believe David Santa Claus is also going to be there. He's a Mi'kmaq Indian, and a few others. So we're going to do a ceremony, and my part would be to go through the ritual that we do, not only for this continent here, which we all call Turtle Island, but throughout the whole world. So this is what the American Indians have been doing it for centuries, if not thousands of years, and it's part of our balance of nature, and also the spirituality that has to do with the consciousness of the people, and also the direct thankfulness to the spirit people. So it's pretty well complicated, but it's the stuff that you see is very understandable.
You just mentioned.
I'm so stoked to hear that he's doing this, because this is something that we've been really wanting to bring Clifford on for since DC kind of got brought up, and it's so amazing that Clifford and David are going to do this ceremony, especially with the mass meditation and everything going on. It's so honored to have you, Clifford.
Well, Clifford just mentioned that he's been involved in politics in Washington, D.C. on behalf of his culture and his people, going back to the Johnson administration. So, Clifford, I have to ask you the obvious question. About how damaged Washington, D.C. is. Do you think that they are ready for this? And hopefully we'll see some changes in the future because of what you guys are going to do out there on 11/11.
Well, I believe that they're way past it, just by the way that Washington has become. And I've seen it, like I said, since the Johnson years. I have been quite involved with many different activities that directly relate to the American Indian community at large. And one of the things that has become really concern is that there's no more communication, and it's sort of a backward type approach to a lot of solving problems. So actually there's no, the reason I believe is communication. Communication, and as we all know, the Indians back in the old days, even though the enemies would sit down with each other, and work out their differences instead of going to war. And they would also go through it with a spirituality process rather than just go out and start destroying the land, the people, and other resources. It has to be, we all have to come down and look at the spiritual part, because technology has overrun the human race.
You're up in Laughlin right now too as well. You're a busy guy for the StarWorks conference that is going down this weekend too as well.
Right.
And are you actually in Laughlin right now?
I'm sitting in Aquarius where they have the meeting. And while I'm sitting here, they're also doing we have a lot of American Indian people here, and Paola Harris is the one that puts it on, and she made it an effort to bring a lot of us native peoples in here to do the ceremonies and get connected back to nature and the people. And as we're talking, they're doing a ceremony right now, and a prayer. And also, what we're talking about is the water, the earth, the air, and all the resources that has to do with the benefit of mankind. And of course, all Indian tribes have a connection with the Star People, and that's one of the things that they really never got involved with it, because these are the ones that are the controllers of the universe, and myself being an engineer and a scientist, I cannot help but merge the spirituality and the science together, technology, and then they have to work hand in hand. So I think this is what we're doing, is that we're making the public be aware that there is something else rather than just the humans. So we have to get back into the basics, and also to let go of ego and try to look for other ways to start talking with each other, because we're now at a stage where if we don't do that, it's going to get worse.
The science, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the show tonight, Clifford, and thank you for mentioning that, because our community understands so much more today, especially in the last 10 years, about our Earth and consciousness and our ET brothers and sisters, which has gone hand in hand with the advancements in science at the same time. And I feel that our communities, the scientific and academic communities, and our community is starting to blend together. And it's efforts like yours that have been causing this. So you feel the same thing that I'm suggesting here. This is actually happening, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the things that I mentioned quite a bit is that when I was starting out on with my academic part of it, I used to sit in the classroom and talk about, or when the professors were talking about a lot of these different concepts, and I used to sit in the back of the lecture hall, and I said, with the American Indians and other indigenous tribes, they already know about that. And so I think what is happening now is that this raising of the consciousness has to be developed through the combination, not only with technology, but also with spirituality. And if you look at some of the inventors and the people that made a lot of laws in physics, mathematics, they had a connection. So if you look at the real deep part of it, where did they get the information? I mean, these people had a direct contact or had some type of way of knowing a lot of this information. So we have to get back in there, especially with the what the Indians call Mother Earth. And we're way past that stage of now where we're really messing up the earth, and so that's where everything comes into play: technology, spirituality, consciousness, and other activities related to the balance and harmony of all different groups that has to exist together. And so this is what our effort is. So we got a good group of American Indian participants. Not only do they have the scientific engineering background, but we also have the direct contact with a lot of our spiritual activities. I mean, it seems like we're making this up, but we've always practiced for many, many years. Myself, as an engineer, I cannot help but have to sit down, and before I do anything, I have to pray, and I have to ask for their guidance. And this has been with me all my professional life. So this is what we have to start doing, and to learn to live with each other, and then also to look at each other's modalities of how to get things back on track, and which includes all these different elements that what we call spirituality, ET, advanced knowledge, and so on.
Clifford, on behalf of our community and, of course, our audience and Adrian as well, I want to thank you for everything that you do and currently are doing for our community. And I know that there's a ceremony going on there right now in Laughlin. So go and hang out with your friends and do me one favor, go up to Paola Harris and thank her too as well, and say hello to all of our friends up there for us. Will you do that?
I certainly will.
Clifford, I miss you. I miss you, and I miss your voice. Okay, so go and have some fun tonight. Go and hang out and get the ceremony finished, and we'll speak to you soon. Safe travels out to Washington, D.C.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Clifford. Clifford Mahooty. Clifford. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Clifford. Clifford is there. And this is the thing. We had to get Clifford on early tonight on the show. We only had a small window because he's out there getting it done, Adrian. That's what he's doing right now.
I know. He's when Adrian Youngblood brought him up, I was so excited because we've been wanting to bring the indigenous spirit to our events, and when she was able to bring that together with David, I thought that was such magical and synchronicity, because we need that element there. Even when we were doing the grid work, a lot of indigenous native energy was needed for it. So it's a blessing to have him.
Yeah, well, tell me,
he truly is.
I'm interested about this water ceremony. Where's it going to take place, and logistic? I mean, what is involved with this water ceremony? And now I understand it's. Well, I'll save my question. You can answer that for. I mean, where's it going to take place? Is it like in the mirror pools?
The reflection pond.
Yeah, the reflection pond.
Yeah, we're gonna do it right there at the reflection pond in front of the main stage. The ceremony itself, so many different tribes. It's very different all the time. So I actually don't know how the Zuni do it. So it's gonna be interesting. But obviously, it's a.
I need you to speak up, Adrian. Adrian, you're too relaxed. I need you to go the other way. I need you to speak up.
You got it.
There you go.
So yeah, my bad. It's my phone. It's the second you got a different angle. Anyway. So this water ceremony is going to be right there in the reflection pond. I'm really not sure of the actual procedure because every tribe is different with water and land ceremonies. So obviously it's water, and we're going to do it right there. So it's going to be very cleansing, using earth and water and clearing energy. So, and then there's very different ways that different tribes and our indigenous people do it. So I'm interested too. I can't wait to really experience it.
Yeah, and see, this is what we need to understand here. The reflection pools there at the bottom of the steps of the Lincoln Memorial as this reaches out. If you've never been there, you've seen it in Forrest Gump. You brought it up. That's actually a very funny point. But that water is in the middle of Washington, D.C. It circulates throughout the city. And doing a water ceremony there, and I'm not trying to make light of this, But I'm talking about all the poison that is in Washington, D.C. right now, and suddenly it's going to be a shock to their system. I'm being serious, and it starts with that reflection pool, Adrian.
Yeah, no, it's a super magical spot, and it's one of the reasons when, I was sending all this, information to Roger and Adrian, everyone, and we just all resonated. We're like, this is it. This is it.
Now, let's talk about this for a second. The mass meditations and the ones that not only that you have done and which have been huge, but when these happen around the world, it's scientifically proven that things calm down from these mass meditations, right?
It's true. And, right now, because we're in this place where the frequency and vibration of this planet is vibrating at the highest rate we've ever experienced before. This is a training mechanism for us to learn how to tune into a higher frequency. And this is why a lot of people have been, it's been, crawling out of their skin or having a really hard time, not unfocused, because this frequency is higher, and because of the programmed 3D matrix that we're accustomed to, it's really hard to really tune in and focus and get to this frequency. So, but because we're spinning at this and vibrating at this frequency right now, manifestation is instant. The second we start seeing what we want and visualizing it, you're already manifesting it. So you get thousands of people visualizing the same beautiful change. That's the magic.
Yeah, and tell us about the grid activation process. What is it?
Well, with us and when it comes through for me, it comes through during meditations, and for me, it comes through at different places. Will pop up in my mind, and then a reason would pop in. So whatever that reason may be. And when you go to these places, basically you're leaving a footprint when you're traveling from one marker to another. So when you get to those markers, and you find that marker, and it's really surreal when you do, you get into that quiet place. You tune into that transmission you got when that led you there, and you do a different type of ceremony every time. With Richard and I and some of our group, we like to use what's called the light star, and we can get into that because that's going to be a long topic. But it's a crop circle that popped up last year, and it's an alliance between Arcturus, Pleiadian, Telosian, Andromedan, and we use this meditation that came with this to activate these grids. And when you travel from each marker to the next and you finish at that footprint, and after the activation, each marker, you activate that grid.
Where was this crop circle?
It was this last one was July 8th, and it was in England, somewhere in England, and it happened July 8th last year.
And where do these where do these markers? I feel like I just cut you off, but I'm looking at the clock.
No, it's all good.
These markers, like Joshua Tree, right?
That's a good one. That's a hot one for me.
That's
definitely came up a few grids. That's a big one. Joshua Tree, Sedona, Shasta,
right?
Lake Taupo, you name it. Some of all these sacred sites. They're very important. They lay on these grid lines and ley lines and vortexes, and they're here for a reason. And we could use in that energy to kind of activate other grids and help this shift that's happening.
I used to read about this and hear about it and talk to people about it over the years, and I dismissed it. Right? There was other important things in my life that I thought were more important, right? What a mistake that was. But the second...
Like the rainbow?
Yeah, like the rainbow. And you turn around and you take a guy like me, and when you least expect it is when something like that is going to happen to you. And the first time that it does, then you start to understand what everybody else is talking about. But there are so many out there, journalists, writers, comedians, people, politicians, wherever you come, that hear us talking about this stuff and they dismiss it. That they need to go to one of these places and just go and walk and just experience it, because it is as real as anything else. It's as real as the car that you drive to work.
Yeah, it truly is. Truly is magical stuff. It's amazing. And if you're called to it, then it's a purpose.
Rita just said you need to go to ECETI. You haven't been to ECETI?
I have not been to ECETI, and I've been wanting to go. James has been kind of an inspiration. We both kind of channel these lioness beings, and I really can't wait. Of everything, every picture I've seen, every story I've heard from people, it's just like, God, I can't wait to get there.
It's when we are talking about sacred sites and energies and portals and things, whatever your thing is. It all goes down up at ECETI. I was reading somebody's comments. This is like 4 weeks ago, and somebody had sent this to me via email about the things that I was saying on Coast to Coast and Fade to Black about ECETI and making jokes about it, right? And I just, that whoever took the time to type that, which I don't care about the negative part of it, it just doesn't matter to me. But whoever that is, if I could find out who wrote that, I would take them. I would drag them to ECETI, because I would just laugh. I would laugh because that person will be stunned.
Right.
Stunned. Truly stunned.
The amount of people that get the same apparition pictures of the Virgin Mary and I Ching, they're so it's so interesting.
It's
man.
Everybody. Wow. It's nobody leaves ECETI empty-handed. It just doesn't happen that way, man. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
And you had a very successful event there recently, so I'm really proud of you. And wow, I'm super proud that you guys did that and pulled that off. It's just it's beautiful stuff. Maybe I'll go next year.
Yeah, no, you're going to go next year for sure. But just like Disclosure Fest and what's going to go on out there in Washington D.C. On 11/11. Things happen, and when you get a group of people together that are focused, things happen, and that's how these mass meditations work. But you get a group of people together with nothing but positive vibes and energies, that's what happens. It happened for us up at ECETI. It wasn't Rita or I. It was the group. It was the collective, right? And that's what makes things happen, and you understand that more than anybody, Adrian.
Yeah, no, it's and it is. I remember when we were doing, and I told you about Disclosure Fest. This is funny. You talk about Earth Grid. So remember when we were on the Disclosure Fest June 23rd show, and you asked about Earth Grids, and then I told you I couldn't really tell you the next one just yet, but I'll tell you on the next show. Well, this is the next show. The last Earth Grid that we talked about was literally the week after Disclosure Fest. Vera and I left for this transmission Earth Grid activation, and it was to merge the ascension acceleration period for East and West. And during this grid activation, after we activated the first marker, I got a call, from Roger, and he's like, "Remember you were talking about this? I think we could figure this out." And it's just how it works. We activated the first grid to merge an East and West, and all of a sudden the phone rings about an East show. So, it's just important stuff, and it's all synchronistic.
Let's take a break right here, Adrian, and when we come back, we've got a musician from Brazil coming on. Who is it?
Yeah. This is Poranguí. He's one of our staple guys. He's amazing, one of the most amazing healers with music that you'll ever meet. Very tribal, very, very indigenous, and you're gonna love them. I haven't talked to them since DisclosureFest in June, so I'm excited that you got them on the phone.
Yeah, we're going to do that next. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Adrian Vallera is here. When I come back, Poranguí is going to be joining us. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. And last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy. Do you want to be an official FADERNIGHT? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new paranormal radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the paranormal radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the paranormal radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, very special event. It is the DisclosureFest Mass Meditation in Washington, D.C., going down on 11/11 in our nation's capital. Adrian Vallera is with us. And Adrian, now we're going to bring on one of the things that you do, and I am so impressed with this, with DisclosureFest out here in Los Angeles, is your ability to pull together some of the most amazing world-class musicians and introduce them not only to our community, but to the world. And your connections and your ear pulling this together is just exceptional. And now we're going to bring on Poranguí, and the soundtrack to the film Ayahuasca, which was released in 2016, is his debut solo album. And then 2017, last year, a remix album of Ayahuasca was presented by Shaman's Dream and released under the Desert Tracks label, as well as a number of collaborative tracks with Liquid Bloom. Now, this year, we've got a live solo album that was released, as well as the completion of a new collaborative album with Shaman's Dream. And I would like to welcome for the first time to Fade to Black, Poranguí. Poranguí, how are you, my man?
Hello, great. Thanks for having me.
It is such an honor. I've got a little echo going on with me in the background. It might be your phone.
Okay. It's just this is a landline, so hopefully it's something on the other end.
Yeah, let's hope.
It went away.
No, did
it go away?
Adrian hears it too, but let's continue. It won't happen when you are speaking. So let me just say this: you're a DJ, you're a producer, you're a songwriter, and a musician. All of it for our community. But your abilities are amazing, and I want to thank you for that. Where do the ideas for these songs come from?
The ideas for these songs, are you speaking to any specific songs or just in general?
Well, like the album Ayahuasca.
Oh, well, the album was inspired largely. We were down in the jungle in Peru, actually, for the filming of the documentary. At that time, I didn't know I was going to be asked actually to score the film. And I had brought some of my field recorders and some of my equipment down there with me just because I always do that. And, so I was actually capturing audio recordings of the jungle and various things while we were out there at the retreat center. And this was in a pretty remote part of the Amazon, about 3 hours only accessible by boat, 3 hours away from Iquitos, which is the only, I think it's the only large city in the world like this that is only accessible by either plane or boat. There's no roads that go there. So we were there and they were filming it. I was taking these field recordings, and at the end of the whole time there, I had the fortune of catching this incredible recording of the whole night out in the jungle. And when Aubrey came to me later, Aubrey Marcus, who's the executive producer, he asked me to score the film. I went to that recording and went back and listened through to it, and it was this really amazing recording of the jungle night, basically from about the time of 8, 9 p.m. all the way until 8 a.m. in the morning. And so it really caught all these different nuances and changes as different moments of the night in the jungle, different animals, different birds, insects that you would hear, kind of like the voice of the jungle change. And so the album, when you listen to it, each song actually presents a different moment of the night that I pulled from that recording, and I used that as the sound bed and the inspiration for each of the pieces. So they really, I was really wanting it to be kind of led, if you will, by the jungle itself, by the spirit of the jungle. And in Quechua, they call that Sachamama, the jungle mother. And so that's kind of what really has been the seeds, if you will, for the tracks, and then weaving that together with obviously the scenes and kind of what was being called for in the film.
Did you do the ceremony?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we sat there. We spent about 2 weeks there in the jungle working in ceremony and participating in all of that with the curanderos there, the healers there, who were very masterful, amazing. Fifth generation, Don Robert was the main curandero, main shaman, if you will, for lack of a better word.
Right.
Roadman, who's holding space there, and his family, his wife, his son, his eldest son was there as well. And then Don Howard. Don Howard is an American who moved to Peru many years ago and started the retreat center, and he's been holding that space in a very beautiful way with a lot of integrity for many years. Yeah, they have an incredible space. Like I said, it's actually a biological reserve. They've protected all that part of the forest there, and they really hold it in a really good way, in really honoring the lineage. And of course, Don Robert does come from mestizo lineage, so it is a mixture of indigenous and it has Hispanic influences. So some of the Icaros, which is what they call them, Icaros are like the medicine songs, if you will, which they talk about it as these songs are not learned songs or in the conventional sense. These songs are basically received, gifted from the plants themselves, from the different plants teachers. So when we talk about an Icaro and the way that a shaman would use that, when they're working with the different plant teachers, they will do what they call a dieta, or diet, where they will often sit with just one plant. And this isn't necessarily an entheogenic plant. It could be any kind of plant. One example, a great example, is just tobacco. The jungle tobacco they call mapacho. They'll sit with that plant and they'll only eat it, like literally drink it as a tea. They'll eat it in different forms. They'll smoke it, work with it in all these ways, and then eat a very restricted diet of food, maybe just like some fish, no salt, no sugars, no carbs. And they'll do that for a month or longer sometimes, depends on what is kind of, assigned by, prescribed, if you will. And when they go through that process, they basically reach a state where they develop this deep relationship with the plant. And what is said that to happen, and I've also experienced this, is that essentially the plant will start to show and reveal these songs. These songs will come to you. They'll come as a pattern, often as a design, as well as a sound, as a melody. And so from that, you kind of capture the song. You receive it. It's like gifted to you from these teachers. And so when you then are in the ceremony in the context of specifically with the plant teachers, the constituents, the vine and the leaf, chacrona and the vine that make up what we call ayahuasca, which is basically a tea, a brew made up of these two main plant teachers. When they're brought together, and you're open, essentially, that you're in that space, energetically, if you will, in kind of the other realm, the unseen world, then what happens is any of these masters who've developed this relationship and have essentially this pantheon of songs, if you will, let's just say a playlist, right? But the songs that they can pull upon their set list, they don't have any specific order, but they can call upon and pull the right song for the right moment in ceremony to basically, in effect, call upon the medicinal vibration of that plant. So, for instance, let's just go back to tobacco, right? They may sing an Icaro for tobacco as the master plant. Even though they're in an ayahuasca ceremony, what will happen is if they're trying to do a healing on someone and they need the medicine that comes from tobacco, they can actually sing the song, kind of like a homeopathic remedy. They can sing that song and bring that energy, that frequency into the person's energetic body as well as their physical body and help, elicit essentially a healing using that plant. So it's really powerful. It's kind of, in effect, it's an ancient technology. And it's a way in which you can basically have an entire pharmacy at your disposal and work with it. But the main plants, of course, the ayahuasca, those two plants there, are essentially opening the portal for then your ability to use all these different songs and frequencies to be able to heal. So it's a really incredible thing. And so the songs, of course, that are on the are very much inspired from that. And I also took some liberty to bring in sounds from other cultures. So, for instance, you'll hear the didgeridoo. You'll hear like the Turkish kaval, which is, a Sufi, a very mystical flute.
Right.
Different things like that are from other spiritual traditions.
So I was hoping you were going to suggest that when we listen to your music, we're listening to some of the things that you are hearing as you have gone through the ceremony, that playlist you just referred to.
Right. In effect, in a way. Yeah. Of course, for the film, specifically to the film, because it was a documentary film and there's a lot of dialogue throughout the film, it wasn't lending itself to necessarily bringing in Icaros, for instance, these kind of medicine songs as far as singing actual lyrics. So the ayahuasca album is less lyrical and more instrumental, and very intentionally so to create the space so that the dialogue could be happening. So it could be there in the background. But there is actually a lot that's still woven into the instrumentals. And in fact, one of the songs, it's actually the song titled Ayahuasca. If you listen carefully, I played an instrument. It's a jaw harp that you find in various cultures, but the one that I played specifically comes from Vietnam. It's called the Dan Moi. And it's being played, and in it, if you listen carefully, you can actually hear the Icaro being sung through the Dan Moi, almost like a robotic voice, if you will, like a vocoder, but it's being done all naturally, just using this instrument. So it's kind of there, but it's in the subtext. You kind of have to really listen in. Of course, that's why it's amazing as you listen to the music. It does take you into those realms.
Yeah, we're going to be playing ayahuasca here in a little bit, and I'm glad that you set this up for everybody so that they can listen to it and hear for those things. But I wanted to ask you, as a musician, I'm a musician, right? As a musician going through the ceremony, and you are hearing these melodies and these songs, being a musician and a gifted one, certainly you had to have been affected by it more than somebody that isn't a musician, right?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, to make that call, that's kind of hard for me to do without, because it's so subjective, right? It's hard to say how everyone is experiencing, say, the medicine, the ceremony, the songs, the Icaros being sung by, the curandero there, without, it's like, truly, I think it's impossible to say with any certainty if I'm hearing it really differently or not, right? But I would say that probably having the musical background, musical training, it helps me really appreciate maybe some of the nuances that others might not pick up on because I have that. But ultimately we don't know, right? It's one of the beautiful things. I personally, I'm a believer that all human beings are musical, in fact, and not just musical. They're movers and they're sound makers. Just by being born with two chords in our throats, and listening to our mother's heartbeat in the womb, I truly believe we all have some sense of it. I think there's a difference in the cultivation of that, and some of us are gifted early on, with just more ability. Just like with sports, someone is just naturally better at playing basketball, if you will, just the first time they ever grab a basketball, whereas others have to work at it much harder, and some people never really get very good at it. I think that's similar with music, right? I think there's certain abilities that just come a little more easily. And so I feel like, but still, nonetheless, everyone is on a spectrum in this relationship with sound and with movement. And so as a result, I really believe, especially when we're in those realms working with these plant teachers, that our innate ability is truly expanded and deepened. And so I think someone, even if they're not very musical per se, they don't play, say, music, or weren't trained as a musician, I feel like they can really feel music in a very unique and deep way, just as much as a musician, I guess, would be my take on it.
Well, and there's a few ways to look at it. The ayahuasca ceremony is a very personal one. It's different for everybody, and that's what the ceremony is for. If you're an artist, you're going to see geometric forms. Things are done for you. And as a musician, that ceremony, the music may be focused straight at you.
It may be, yeah, very much so. I mean, I definitely feel like you're going to be really sensitive to it. It's interesting you saying that it's focused at you. I think it really depends, right? Like in this, specifically speaking to the ceremony that we sat in, for those nights and working with Don Robert, who's, like I said, he's fifth generation shaman, and he's been there for a long time working, with his grandfather and his grandfather's grandfather, and he's very, very capable of being able to see things. And mind you, the Peruvian style of working with ayahuasca, which is these two main plants that work together basically to create the brew that is this tea, right? And the way that that's done in Peru is very different than the way it's done in Brazil, my native country where I grew up. So in Brazil, there's several religious organizations, churches, if you will, spiritual lineages that use ayahuasca, which they call it daime there, as one of the other names, Jurema. There's many names for it there. But they use it in a very different context, in so much as, this is a quick example, in the Santo Daime Church, they would work with Daime with the lights on. It happened, ceremony would happen in the daytime. People would be standing, in fact, even dancing and singing along to what are effectively hymns, they call hinos. And whereas in the Peruvian lineages, often you'll see that happen at nighttime in the dark, and it's very much an individual journey where people are usually sitting in the dark in their own kind of area, on their own mat or whatever.
Right.
Usually they're sitting, not laying down. But, there it's a much more of an introspective journey. So they're very different contexts. Same brew could be used, but changing the context in that way really opens up these other ways that you experience it. Like in the Daime Church, you're singing yourself, so everyone's singing along, if you will, to the song. So it's really amazing to kind of be a part of the music making, whereas in the Peruvian lineage, you may have that, going back to it being directed at you, the curandero, he might see that you're struggling or something's happening for you where you need some help.
Right.
And he may come over and sing you a very specific song for you, So in that way, it's pretty amazing how those contexts can change. And in the end, it's still such a powerful experience, such a, soul-opening experience.
Now, your music, whether it's the electronic stuff or your natural instruments, music affects people. Now you're taking this to Washington, D.C. This is a place that needs to get affected, right?
Right.
Are you excited about it?
Oh, so much, very much so. Yeah, we're super excited to come out to support the vision, of DisclosureFest and the mass meditation event. I think Adrian is an amazing human being, as you know, and we're super excited to work with everyone to really bring these frequencies there to the Capitol and hopefully ripple that out across the world. And inspiring people to really step into their higher power, if you will, and go a little bit deeper. For me, music. I really look at music not as an entertainer or for entertain. Really music, my journey, my relationship to music is about transformation. And my desire has always been, I've been called since I was a little kid, growing up between, South America and North America, really clearly this called to the power of music and its ability to transform us, to inspire us, to really move us out of the mundane and into, really this place of inspiration and transformation that can heal the world, heal ourselves and heal the world, and feel more connected to this world. And then by feeling more connected and more inspired, being able to then take our abilities, whatever our gifts are and talents are, and to use those for the greater service of all beings, not just human beings. So it's really, that's the work. And I think, you could probably ask anyone who's worked with ayahuasca or any of the plant teachers, that's what the plants are basically trying to tell us. They're really trying to help us, the human species, if you will, remember to kind of let go of our ego a little bit, and our kind of very self-centered perspective of our role on the planet Earth. And to remember that actually we live amongst many species that are truly beyond what we think. We don't even barely understand a dog and a cat, that we can cohabitate for, for many, many years, and let alone think about how whales and how dolphins and how, how coyotes, for that matter, interact and live and breathe and think and have feelings and have compassion. And, these, all sentient beings have this. And the plants have this, in fact. And there's all this new research out now showing how intelligent plants are. Right? And so these plants, it's not a coincidence that they have these entheogenic properties that literally open us up and open us up our awareness and our perception to really start to see things that aren't just a hallucination. I think that name is kind of very much a misnomer because we think that it's not real. There's something very real and very tangible when we work in those spaces that help us to see things that our normal vision can't show us, our normal senses we're blind to, if you will, in the unseen realms. And so, in fact, science talks only about the seen realms, and it just starts to get into the unseen when we start getting into quantum and these other kind of areas of science that are now coming forward and being like, hey, there's all this stuff that we really realize we don't know that we don't know.
Well,
that's where most of the universe actually exists, right?
That's exactly
when we start talking about go ahead.
We're getting ready to play ayahuasca right now, and before we do that, where can you have so much talent and you're so amazing? Where can everybody go and listen to your music and learn more about you?
That place to connect with me and learn more about all the work that we do musically and retreats and beyond catching the show is going to be through my website. And that's just my name, Poranguí.com, and it's spelled Porangui.com. And yeah, we have all our music there, links out to our Bandcamp, which is the best place to support us. And of course, we're on Spotify and iTunes and all those things. New album's about to come out, a new solo album. Actually, it's a live album because most of the music when I perform it's all done live. So what I'll be doing in DC is that. I use a bunch of loop pedals and technology to kind of actually create everything on the fly. So no pre-recorded anything, but really building quite a sound, kind of one-man orchestra style. So I'm really stoked to share that with you all, and I hope we get to hang out a little bit while we're out there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Poranguí.com. We're going to play this right now. Thank you so much, and have a safe trip out to Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Jimmy. You take care.
Yeah, thank you so much. Poranguí.com, and I'm going to play, this is ayahuasca right here. Check this out. That's Porangui. That was ayahuasca. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church, Poranguí.com. We're going to take a quick break. I'll be right back with Billy Carson. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. Dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon Coffee banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is our Disclosure Fest, Washington, D.C. mass meditation special event. What a night. Wow, that was just incredible. And Richard Yiap was here, Clifford Mahooty. We just had Poranguí. And what Adrian, he is about as good as it gets, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty amazing, isn't he? I'm glad you played his music too, because it's really inspirational stuff.
Absolutely. And now we got to welcome back to the program the one and only Billy Carson. Billy, how are you, man?
I am fantastic and glad to be on here tonight. What's up, Adrian?
What's up, Billy?
It's a family. It's a family. You know, that it's so great having the both of you on together. Billy, Poranguí, you're a musician. You've got your own record label. Did you get a chance to listen to his track, Ayahuasca?
Yeah, man, that was inspirational stuff. Real nice. I might need to call him up and do some work.
I'm telling you what, man. It's just it's so inspirational. That's the right word. It's absolutely amazing. He is
mystical. Yeah, really nice stuff.
Really, and he's a DJ too, by the way. Can you imagine? Wow, amazing. Incorporating all of the spiritual elements into electronic music and bringing it to a DJ crowd. That's what I'm talking about. So, Billy.
That's incredible.
Okay, so, Billy, you're going to be going out to Washington, D.C. This is the perfect event for Forbidden Knowledge. Mass meditation going down in Washington, D.C. Are you excited?
I am excited and pumped up. I've always wanted to speak in that exact location, believe it or not.
Of course.
So I'm very pumped up and excited that I'll finally be able to speak right there in that exact spot directly in front of the White House and all the other museums and the Congressional Library, and it's going to be amazing.
The steps of the Lincoln Memorial. That's where it goes down. That's where it goes down, right there. And what are you going to be doing this year?
I'm going to be speaking about sentient living crystals.
Say what?
So the fact, sentient living crystals.
Oh man! Okay, Billy, tell us about it. What's a sentient living crystal?
Well, as you know about sentience, is when you have a being that has obtained a certain level of consciousness and self-awareness that is actually alive. And it could be a being, doesn't have to be a humanoid. It can also be a planet. It could be a star. It could be a crystal. There's many forms of sentient life in the universe, and crystals are one of them. So I'm going to be going over and breaking down how crystals are actually alive. They vibrate at different specific resonant frequencies. They break up, they move, they change shape, they reform, and they're able to transmit and send and receive colors, images, sound, and other forms of information directly from the ether of space-time itself, as well as, the piezo crystal allows us to receive radio signals, and Nikola Tesla, thank God for him, was able to put that all together back in the 1800s.
I'm holding up for the cameras here my Lemurian quartz. Look at that.
Okay.
Big chunk, and if anything, this is 100% alive. There is no question about that. I've got so many crystals here in the studio. Now, how there are a few processes that go into crystals, and I'm not sure that most understand when we talk about activating a crystal, or that the crystal is alive, or it changes colors, or it's receiving energies too as well. Can you take us through some of that?
Yeah, sure, definitely. One thing about crystals, and I've got them lined up on my windowsill as well at my house, that they all point at another larger amethyst crystal, which absorbs that energy. But crystals have the capability of sending and receiving information and energy from each other, and also directly from the sun. They also pick up energies that are unseen, like the energies and intentions of the people that hold them, that touch them, and that actually use them. So they have several different ways of picking up energies, seen and unseen, seen being in the form of electromagnetic waves of light that we can actually visibly see with our very small 7% visual perception, and then the other unseen energies that can be directly absorbed from people. This is why if you've got a special crystal, you don't want just anybody touching it, because you don't know what their intentions are. You don't know what kind of energies that they may have, and that energy can be taken into that crystal, and you can take that crystal and walk around with some of that energy on you or around you or in your home, and so that's not a pretty good thing. And you can charge crystals. I typically charge my crystals with sunlight, so I charge them with sunlight, sage them, once a month, to basically ward off any negative energy that they may have absorbed from my place and from anybody else's energy that may have come in contact with them within the vicinity. And then I let the sun charge them, and I point them at specific directions, because all crystals have nodes on them, and those nodes are able to recalibrate and aim that energy into a specific area. So I have it all set up to take the sunlight off of my sunset from the western-facing window and direct it right back into the house at another large crystal, which then takes it and boosts that energy and projects it around the entire house, which allows me to basically have this positive, clean energy around me at all times.
They just, I'm holding this up, they just glow. I mean, it's incredible to see the energy go through them. It's just unbelievable to me. But you just said something very interesting. If I walked into your house and went up and touched some of your crystals, I'd be doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, that's absolutely correct. That's right. You should not just walk up into someone's house without their permission. If you can get their permission, that's fine. But there are, we have yin and yang in this universe, and there's no way around that. You can't have good without darkness. You can't have, darkness without good. So basically, there are people out there with not so good intentions, or maybe people that just may be, holding on to bad feelings from their dog just died, their wife just left them, they're having some financial issues, they're having a situation, one of their kids is sick. All these are different types of low-frequency energies that they're walking around with. But now, because they're walking around with these frequencies, their DNA is a Wi-Fi signal. So all DNA in everybody is a Wi-Fi. It sends and receives information on a 24/7 basis. So what happens is their DNA is now transmitting these lower vibrational frequencies, which are getting picked up by your crystals. So I don't know if anybody has ever heard of something like if you find something in the street when you were a kid, like a toy or anything, and you bring it home. My mother used to say, like, I don't want that person's energy in my house, or that, we don't know who had that, and make me throw it away. So it's kind of the same thing with crystals. You really, you shouldn't just let anybody touch them without at least knowing that person, giving permission, and then even then you should clean them, and recharge them for yourself.
Yeah, Billy, speak up into the phone a little bit. You're wandering.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. So, yeah, you should clean them for yourself and sage them for yourself.
Adrian, when you started to put DisclosureFest together and you're looking at a diversity of speakers for your presentation, here comes Billy Carson. What was it about Billy that you knew that he had to bring that forbidden knowledge to Washington, D.C.?
Well, whenever I would listen to one of Billy's talks, or like if he's on an interview or a show, like I've just always been like super impressed with the depth of his knowledge, and this is someone that actually really gets into the research and does the work. But also, like, he's into music, and he can do it. Like, we all know who Billy is, and we all kind of can think of like a bunch of different topics that Billy's going to talk about. But here's Billy talking about living sentient crystals right now.
Right.
Like, that's awesome, and he can just go there. So I think with the diversity and, with jumping into a show or an event that's basically geared around the mass meditation, but we also have like yoga and sound baths and kirtan and you know, indigenous ceremonies and all these amazing things. Billy can come to you with like sentient living crystals and actually like just bring down the house.
Now,
that's why he's there.
Yeah, exactly. And he's Billy. The new version, the new edition of the Emerald Tablets, is that been released?
Yes.
Is that out now?
It's not released yet. It's almost ready. It's probably about maybe 1 week away from being released. Matter of fact, the orders that are coming in now for the compendium of the Emerald Tablets are all going to receive the new version. So I'm really excited. I mean, Laura Cantal, hats off. She did a fantastic job helping me. That's her publishing company, is Winter Wolf Publishing. She did a great job. And thank you, Jimmy, for doing the forward for the book. I'm really excited about that. It was an honor.
I forget. That's right. So I made it into the book.
Yeah. You're in the book, man, right in the front.
Oh, man. It's such an honor. And see, the thing is, Billy, that, and Adrian just brought this up, when I watch you and how people are attracted to you, and you're out there at these conferences and virtually holding court, not only at your presentations, but you sit down, you're in the lobby, and the next thing you know, you've got 20 people around you that just want to sit and have a conversation with you. And when you asked me if I would write the foreword to the book, I wanted. Of course, I said yes, but the foreword to the book that I wanted to try to capture how this community looks at you now, and that's exactly what you do, man. And it is so exciting to see this happen to our community. They totally resonate with what you are presenting, and it's got to be a good feeling for you to have this community just embrace you like they have.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, I talked about this briefly at the City Ranch. The fact that the thing that I like about the conscious community so much is even though we have, everybody has their own infighting or whatever you want to call it in terms of, or disagreements, as you want to call it, on a massive scale, but on a micro scale, being involved in the conscious community, they have really taken me on as a brother, a true brother from another mother. Mm-hmm. There has been no racial epithet. There have been no problems with, me crossing over into other realms and talking about different topics and anybody making any type of a bad statement toward me or whatever. I mean, I've just been literally accepted into the community as if I'm a brother, which is so pleasing, and so refreshing in these days and times.
Now, you just got back from Peru. That's the last trip that I know that you took. Have you left the country since then?
Yeah. I haven't left the country since Peru, I don't believe. Let me see. Right now we're in... No, I haven't left the country since Peru.
See, you don't even know.
Yeah, that was an amazing trip.
Now, Adrian, did you hear his reaction to that? And the reason why I loved it is because Billy goes out and does the research. He's going out there on location. He's walking these sacred sites. He's looking at the megalithic structures. He's trying to figure out ley lines and the construction and the connection to past cultures. Billy's out there getting it done, Adrian.
Well, no, I love it, and that's what I was talking about. But didn't you do something very special on that trip also?
Yes, he did. I thank you for setting that up, Adrian. What happened in What happened in Peru, Billy? Anything stand out for you?
Well, I was there with my girlfriend at the time, and we were headed to the top of Machu Picchu, which it was an amazing trip, first of all. I mean, just setting it up. We went to the Nazca Lines, which she brought me for my birthday, which was the best birthday gift a man like me can ever want or ask for, to fly over to Nazca Lines in a private plane and get to see that and just experience that whole thing in Cusco and Lima, and then fly to Cusco and do the Sacred Valley and go to all these other sacred sites, and then to climb to the top of Machu Picchu on my birthday, September the 4th. And she's there with me, and at the very top, I decided to go for the gusto, and I proposed. and asked her for a hand in marriage, and she said yes.
She said yes.
She said yeah. Well, if she didn't say yes, I wouldn't be on the phone now because I was going to jump.
Now, what did she have any idea? I have to know. Did she have any idea that you were going to propose?
She had no idea. No idea whatsoever. It was a complete shock.
Now, wait a minute. Wait. This takes a lot of planning, which means you've got to have the ring. You've got to get the ring in the luggage. She can't see anything. You're staying in hotels. You're hiding the ring. You're now hiking up Machu Picchu, up the mountain. You've got the ring in your pocket. You can't make any mistakes. And this is a lot of logistics going behind all of this. But you pulled it off, right?
Yeah, I pulled it off, man. There were a few obstacles in my way, to be honest with you. I was so nervous getting, knew what my intentions were with it, that getting on the plane, I actually left my luggage in the right in the front area where you come to your gate to get on the plane.
Right.
And as I'm sitting on the plane, I'm realizing, wait a minute, I didn't put any luggage in overhead bin. I'm like, oh my God! I jump up, I'm scrambling past people to get to my luggage, and I get to the luggage, and it's sitting right there, right in front of the workers for the airline, and I brought it in. I mean, I was so nervous, but I knew I had to complete this mission because I set my mind to it already. I already manifested it in my mind. So I knew that, I had to complete the mission. So I just waited, man. I dropped a couple of seeds just to see, if she was leaning towards maybe this is a good thing or a bad thing. But, I had to have the ring way in advance. I had to have, I manifested it out of my mind, the exact location I wanted to stand in and everything else. And it all worked out, thankfully, man. Everything worked out the way that it was supposed to. And even some people who were there, just, as visitors to the location, caught some images of us, me doing the proposal to her and her, smiling and me hugging her and everything else, some strangers basically that were there, some tourists. And it was an amazing sight, man. Just an amazing location to do that. And, I was going to do it on Valentine's Day in 2019 because we're going to Tahiti then, and it was already booked. But I said, everybody gets engaged on Valentine's Day. Let me do something a little bit different.
Congratulations. Have you guys set the big date?
We haven't set the date yet. I'd like to get married in the same spot, but, it's all up in the air right now in terms of the exact date, just because our schedules are so robust, and so we're trying to figure that out.
What now, Billy? Let's go back to congratulations, by the way, and the photographs and the
congratulations. I have to say that too.
Yeah,
one of the world's most influential researchers, author, musical ear, speaker, hopeless romantic.
Hopeless romantic. And if you're going to do it right, Machu Picchu right there at the top of the world.
There you go.
The pictures are absolutely amazing. So congratulations, Billy. Now, take us through what you're going to be doing out in Washington, D.C. I've said this to all of the guests tonight, and I've said it to Adrian weeks ago. With the timing, the climate, the world, what is going on right now, everything focused on Washington, D.C. Yeah. It couldn't be better. I mean, Washington, D.C. needs this right now, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt Washington, D.C. needs a mass meditation. We need to clean out. There's a dark shadow over this nation's capital. And it doesn't mean that everybody that's there is a dark person, but there's enough dark energy there to fill up this whole planet with dark energy. I mean, that's how much of it's concentrated in that one location. Primarily because once you give a man a specific amount of power, and unfortunately, it seems to taint the majority of us. So it's nothing that we have negative against them or angry against them, or we may be frustrated. But we understand that the way that the human consciousness has been guided with all of the media, the bad and false histories that we've been given, and a lot of the racial prejudices and also obviously capitalism. Those things have guided the majority of the men that are in politics and politicians into a very dark area where they are really blinded. They really can't see beyond the veil, and that power has kind of made them kind of drunk and given some of them, thinking that they're God. So I think it's a perfect time for it. We need it right now badly, not only in Washington, but we need it worldwide. And I think that a meditation will be much more effective than any Million Man March or any other type of event or any other kind of picketing event or event that you can stage up where people are walking around just, kind of protesting. I think that the meditation, going into the spiritual realm, tapping into the Akashic records, tapping into etheric energies and manifestations is going to be a lot more powerful than anything we could do in the physical form. We have to go mind outside of body, mind outside of time to tackle issues and problems like these. So I'm really excited about it.
There's no doubt, and I say it so often, Billy, that politicians, from whatever their background, they probably get into it with the best of intentions. They start off with the town or city council, and everything is good, and they're for the community, and you work your way up, and you wind up in Washington D.C., and something happens, the original intentions get lost, and money gets involved, and the different influences and companies and corporations and donations and lobbyists, things get really polluted. And it just doesn't matter what your intentions, who you are, or what your background is. Eventually, things you drive the train off the tracks. We got to get it centered again, and that's why this mass meditation at the Lincoln Memorial is so important. I want to thank you right now, Billy, for doing that. Where can everybody go and find you with Forbidden Knowledge?
They can go to ForbiddenKnowledge.com or the number 4. The new website's being released tomorrow. The website's up, don't get me wrong, but the new version will be up tomorrow, ForbiddenKnowledge.com. Also Instagram at Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4. Also on YouTube at The Forbidden Knowledge. I'm going to start putting out a lot more YouTube content as well. So The Forbidden Knowledge on YouTube and Twitter as well. And also on Stellar. You can find me on Stellar.com. Forbidden Knowledge, the number 4.
Thank you so much, Billy. I can't wait to hang out with you again. I'll be seeing you shortly, and just be safe and be well. And again, congratulations. Thank you so much, Billy.
Thank you. See y'all later.
Thanks for jumping on, brother.
All right.
No
problem. Thank you, man.
Have a great night, Billy. Billy Carson, Forbidden. Thank you, Billy. ForbiddenKnowledge.com, Forbidden Knowledge on Instagram, Forbidden Knowledge on Facebook, Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4 everywhere on YouTube as well. Billy Carson. Man, Machu Picchu proposed. That's class right there. Billy Carson, thank you so much. I'll be right back with Dr. Michael Salla. Stay with us.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numanna banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of Numanna Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the Numanna banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Adrian Vallera is here. Very special event tonight for FADERNIGHT, talking about the mass meditation DisclosureFest in Washington, D.C., taking place on 11/11 at the steps of the Washington, or of the steps of the, well, in between the Washington Monument and, of course, the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. I want to thank Richard Yiap for coming in tonight, Poranguí, Clifford Mahooty, Billy Carson, and Adrian. It's been incredible. But now, back to Fade to Black, the one and only Dr. Michael Salla. Michael, how are you, man?
I'm great, Jimmy. Very happy to be here.
It's always good to hear your voice, and I know right now you've got an amazing shirt on.
Well, it is Hawaii, so right now it's the tank top.
Oh, it's a tank top. Okay. Every time, Adrian, it's great. You see Michael walking around, and he's got just some amazing Hawaiian shirt on, and you can see him from about 100 yards in the dark.
Lots of style.
Lots of style. Michael, how are you? And, I want to say congratulations on Above Majestic. You're one of the stars in the new documentary that has been doing absolutely amazing out there. Have you seen the film?
I have, and it's really phenomenal, just the public response, and to me, it's just just one of those signs we're looking for that people are ready for this information. When a movie like that presents all that information, it's over 2 hours, so there's a lot there, but people are watching it and recommending it, and so that's a sign that this is the time we're in the age of disclosure.
Now, and here we go. Washington, D.C., the mass meditation is going to be happening out there at the Lincoln Memorial. You are part of it. And right now, you've been part of exopolitics and Washington, D.C. and disclosure for so many years. But this is the first event like this that Adrian has put together for Washington, D.C., but the timing couldn't be better, could it?
No, this is great. I mean, just to have an event on the 11th of the 11th, right there in front of the Lincoln Memorial, where there's a lot of people in the Washington area that are very interested in disclosure, and they come together and they listen to everyone talking about disclosure-related projects, and they do the meditation. It's going to create a wave. It's going to attract more people. And, the thing is, Washington, even though it's a place where you have a concentration of political power and kind of like vested elites that manipulate things, it's also a place that has this incredible spiritual potential as well, and that there's an awakening that needs to be happening there in Washington. And Washington, it's not going to take much, I think. I mean, surprisingly less than what people think, to turn Washington, D.C. into this kind of bastion of the deep state, into something that can really help move the world into a kind of greater, expanded state of consciousness and awareness.
Why do you think it's not going to take as much as we think? That's a very interesting thing to say, Michael.
Well, it goes into the kind of architecture of Washington, D.C., and, Pierre L'Enfant, and there are many people that participated in the design of Washington, D.C., and, there's a lot of sacred symbology there. And one of the things about Washington, D.C. is that a lot of the streets make this pentagram. And, the pentagram is a kind of symbol of the occult, of this kind of symbol that can kind of open up one to either dark forces or light forces. And one of the things, if anyone's familiar with Goethe's Faust, Mephistopheles, that on the doorway you have the pentagram, and if one of the sides of the pentagram is open, rather than the pentagram keeping dark forces out, it invites them in. And so Washington, D.C. was designed, and it's like one of the doorways is open for that kind of dark force to come in, which is where the cabal, the deep state, has basically established a foothold. But still, the pentagram is this symbol of this kind of occult higher understanding. And so if there's a way to close that door, to bring in this kind of pentagram into its fullest potential, then you can have a flip in the consciousness and the power that's there in Washington, D.C.
You bring up a really good point. The infrastructure is there for us, the wiring, if you will, right, is already in place for us, and the influence can spread quickly, and it's because they built it for one thing, but we'll take advantage to take it in the other direction. That's very interesting, Michael.
Well, that's right, and this is one of the things about the occult, is that everything which reflects occult principles and belief systems, can be used for positive or negative forces, and right now Washington, D.C. has been used for these dark designs, but that can be easily flipped.
Adrian, you were going to say something.
Oh, I just wanted to say that what I said at the beginning: reverse the purpose.
Yeah, reverse the purpose. Well, Adrian, Michael, I don't know if you know about this, but Adrian went out in advance to Washington, D.C. To go to these specific points that I want to say this in a correct way. I'll let Adrian with these energy nodes, if you will, in Washington, an advanced scouting trip, didn't you, Adrian?
Yeah, no, we did that a few weeks ago, and I'll talk about it more later.
What do you mean later? Right now. Let's do it now.
Later, after the 11th.
Oh, after the 11th. Did I? Okay, I hope I didn't expose anything. I didn't do any damage, did I?
No, you're good.
Okay, good. Michael, one of the things that I think is so important here that you have been talking about for years, and I brought it up at the beginning of the show, is the knowledge and the science is one thing. It's always moving forward in the background, but our community is getting smarter every single day too. And they seem to be moving forward together. We know more today in the last 10 years about ET and what is going on than all in the past, right?
There's definitely been a build-up. There's been an expansion of the knowledge base of people who've been studying this for years. I know in my own case, my understanding of exopolitics just went through kind of like a quantum leap when I came across the whole secret space program literature, the information that Corey Gould, Emery Smith, and others, William Tompkins, have been talking about, that this really did expand my awareness of exactly what is going on. And I think in a way, the whole kind of 100 monkey syndrome is very relevant here, that as we do reach that kind of that threshold in terms of a percentage of the population that understands a phenomenon, then it just kind of spreads like wildfire through the whole mass. And I think that's where we're at now with this kind of disclosure movement, with the secret space program information, because, we know that, the Corey Good information has spread out there like a wildfire. You have people whose lives are being transformed. You have people who are kind of like strongly opposed. But the thing is, it's provoked a reaction because it's hit that threshold of people suddenly taking this information seriously.
And the 100th monkey effect, it's something that a lot are talking about today, but maybe it's misunderstood. Can you explain the 100th monkey effect?
Right. It's that idea that if you have a monkey on a remote island learning a new trick, like opening a coconut with rocks or something, and that kind of understanding spreads amongst those monkeys on that island, then monkeys on another island, even though they're separated by the ocean, it's like they get it, that there's a kind of a consciousness network that pervades that kind of species. And so this is the idea of the 100 monkey effect, that even though people might not consciously be kind of aware of this kind of information, it's just like once you reach that critical threshold, it's like all of a sudden they wake up and that kind of interest is there. It's like they're ready for it. And then all of a sudden they're talking about secret space programs and that this is important, that we want to understand it. And so this is how this kind of process works.
And for you, talking about exopolitics and the climate on this planet and everything that goes along with that is something that you've been doing for a very long time. You've been rolling that rock uphill. But now today, this is discussed in just about every corner of the planet. And is this, again, the 100th monkey effect, where you are one, but now it seems like your message is getting through? Is this the 100th monkey effect in full effect?
It's a part of it. It's like, to me, the biggest event that occurred that put exopolitics on the map, even though people in the academic community aren't talking about it yet is when Stephen Hawking started to talk about the early results from the Kepler Space Telescope identifying exoplanets. And Stephen Hawking started to speculate that, well, we shouldn't be sending out radio transmissions to these planets because if you do have intelligent extraterrestrial life out there, it's more likely than not they're going to be a predatory species and they're going to come out here and basically take us over, just like the Americas were taken over by a superior technologically equipped society. What that did was that basically transformed the whole topic of extraterrestrial life from being this kind of fringe area that scientists considered speculative and we didn't have enough data, to all of a sudden it was necessary to start talking about, well, what's the difference between type 1, type 2, type 3 civilizations? Type 1 going to be more predatory than type 2? And, if we're going to send radio signals out, should we first find out, what type of civilization is out there? So it's raised the idea of exopolitics from this kind of fringe that was avoided to suddenly scientists are talking about it seriously, even though they're not using the term.
And the other, just like you're mentioning here, Hawking brings it up, and then suddenly we're getting fast radio bursts, right? Everything that was like in the movie Contact, which was, talked about in the WOW signal, but now we're getting fast radio bursts. And what seems to be them reaching out to us, and there seems to be a connection, isn't there?
Well, there is definitely some connection, with the different life forms out there. Now, I don't know if they are sending radio bursts from distant planets to kind of help us wake up. I mean, because they do have faster than light speed technology, so they're here. I mean, they don't have to send a radio burst from Alpha Centauri because, they're right here and they can kind of like interact with us on the internet or other kind of use other technologies to communicate with us.
Right.
Crop circles is one way that they can communicate and have been doing so. Kind of like contacts, abductions. These are other ways that they're communicating with us, and also the dream state. I mean, this is one of the things that's still a mystery to those of us that have been trying to follow this is, people can have contact in their dreams. And, I know I've spoken to many contactees who say that they were first contacted in the dream state by the beings, and then once they reached a certain point, then the physical contacts began. So, we can be contacted in many different ways. We don't want to just limit it to this kind of very mechanistic idea, like SETI thinks that while, we communicate through radio waves, transmitting or receiving. Now, there's many more ways that communication happens with extraterrestrial life.
Well, that's exactly the point, isn't it? That is what is so great in that if a scientist or a physicist or an astronomer is contacted in the dream state, that would get dismissed. But you know what doesn't get dismissed? Contact through scientific means that can be proven and repeatable, like fast radio bursts. So they get their version of contact and others get their version, but all of it comes to one conclusion, that we're not alone and that we are being visited. And that's the part that I enjoy most, Michael.
Definitely. And I think we're going to have some really big announcements coming up soon. I'm very much looking forward to exactly what's going to come out of this whistleblower group, QAnon, when they come back, because one of their last messages before they went dark was they basically said that the secret space programs are real and that there is extraterrestrial life out there. And so this was something that really red-pilled millions of people that while they might be open to conspiracy theories in general were previously very closed to the whole idea of an extraterrestrial cover-up. And now QAnon, who has become kind of like this kind of very cool way of people opening up to the deep state being corrupt and being exposed, now all of a sudden QAnon has dropped this bombshell that extraterrestrial life is real and secret space programs exist.
What are you going to be presenting out in Washington, D.C. on 11/11?
I think I'll be just talking about the kind of historic symbology of a group of people assembling in front of the Lincoln Memorial, discussing a topic that really addresses this theme of a segregated society. You know, that we do live in a segregated society. You know, we live in a society where you have those who have full access to these advanced technologies that prolong life, that basically enables them to travel around the planet or even between planets very, very quickly. And those that are denied access to these life-changing technologies, that this is really a very segregated society. And so just as the civil rights movement in the 1960s used Washington, D.C. as a platform to address the kind of like a segregated America, now we are going to bring up this kind of segregated America in this kind of technological segregation that exists throughout American society and around the world.
Is Washington starting to listen to us?
That's going to happen when people begin mobilizing. This is really a very encouraging that you actually have a group of people mobilizing. Washington only listens if you have large numbers of people gathering together and mobilizing, and basically then, you know, taking political action in terms of getting on the streets, writing letters, you know, going to different congressional representatives, you know, stating their opinions. That this is what makes Washington move, when you have people mobilizing. So it's not a matter of just, you know, coming out with an eloquent argument. It's really, Washington is all about politically mobilizing people to get them to take action. And, you know, this DisclosureFest and this kind of meeting there in the Washington Mall is really, to me, very exciting, because this is the first concrete sign that people are ready to mobilize and start being active in wanting the whole secrecy system to collapse and for these technologies to be shared and made available to everyone.
Should the next step, should Adrian put together our Disclosure Million Man and Woman March on Washington, D.C.? Should that be next?
Well, that's where we're heading. You know, we are going to have that 1 million-person march on Washington, D.C. for disclosure. That you know, Adrian, I think, is really doing exactly what needs to be done in getting people excited about disclosure, holding these disclosure fests around the country, and just getting more and more people involved in this. And it's not. And what I like about what Adrian does is it's not just a political movement. It's also a higher consciousness. It's also understanding that, you know, we are part of a galactic community, and that, you know, part of this kind of segregated state that's been imposed upon us is to separate us from our cosmic brothers and sisters. You know, these are our cosmic ancestors. Genetically, we're linked to them, and many people, you know, throughout their lives, grow up feeling this connection to our cosmic brothers and sisters. And even though that might be unconscious, but it's there nevertheless. So this, I think, is really where we need to go, and you know, really support Adrian and others that are wanting to mobilize people in these large gatherings and mass marches.
Michael, thank you so much, and not only for coming on the show tonight, but for everything that you do and what you're going to be doing out in Washington, D.C. next weekend. Thank you so much, my friend.
You're welcome. Aloha.
Aloha. There he is, Dr. Michael Salla. Yeah, the best. Michael, your website, really quick.
Exopolitics.org.
Exopolitics.org. Thank you, Michael. Be safe and be well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And going down next weekend in Washington, D.C. Now, I'm going to let everybody know next weekend, I am over hosting Coast to Coast AM. I can't attend out there at Disclosure Fest, and I'm completely bummed out about that. But there you go. But Adrian, you've got to. I think next year the Million Man Woman March on Washington D.C., the big Disclosure Fest march. Shouldn't that be next?
Wow. Well, you know what? Let's instead of a march, let's do a 1 million-person Earth Grid.
A 1 million-person Earth Grid, but we got to march right to the Capitol steps.
Well, you got to march. You got to march the Earth Grid.
March.
You just get them all marching the Earth Grid. It's beyond politics, beyond disclosure.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true. Why not do both?
Yeah, let's do it.
See, I to get Washington to react, to get the White House to react, they got to look out the windows and go, "What the heck is going on?" Right? And then somebody goes, "Hey, man, they want some answers." And I think that's the only. Yeah, I think Michael's right. That's the only way you get some of these doofuses to respond. It's in numbers.
It really is.
It's in numbers.
You got to play their game.
Yeah, you got to play the game. Adrian, thank you so much. And now, where can everybody go and get this information for Disclosure Fest?
Yeah, so go if you're going to come to Disclosure Fest and you're in the East Coast, because I get all these posts about when are you going to come out here? We're there. If you're an 8-hour drive, don't worry. It's not a $200 ticket. It's free.
It's free.
So just come.
It's free.
So come. You go to DisclosureFest.org, get a ticket. If you're going to join the live stream at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, DisclosureFest.org/live. All that information is on the site, DisclosureFest.org. We have a great lineup for you. Throughout the whole day, we'll have yoga, we'll have kirtan, we'll have sound baths, multiple sound baths. We're going to have workshop. Even Poranguí, who is on the show tonight, he's going to actually do a really cool sing, dance, play workshop. We have the Total Disclosure Space with Full Disclosure Project that's going to be doing the Above Majestic panel, but then there's other speakers like, Justin DeChamps, Clifford Mahooty, David Lombert, John D'Souza, Corey Good's going to be hosting a lot of really amazing stuff. Billy Carson's going to be doing a couple things. Laura Eisenhower, Jordan Sather, Roger Richards. So this whole Above Majestic, this movie is really tripping me. I saw it finally for the other night. It's really amazing, well done masterpiece of disclosure.
Yeah, the movie is going to stand up on its own. It's really well done.
Yeah,
and the graphics,
we've been
the
waiting
presentation,
for something like that.
Yeah, it's really, really, really well done, and you can go find that out there on all of your streaming services. Adrian, thank you so much. When are you heading out to Washington D.C.? Probably early next week.
We're gonna. Yeah, early next week on the 5th, because we got to set up for the initiatives, and because on the 12th, on Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have our initiatives. Saturday also. So, being of service. So yeah, definitely come join us. It's going to be a full day of amazing stuff. We even got really amazing DJs on the main stage. Desert Dwellers coming on to Poranguí. So yeah, come join us. It's definitely going to be a day of holding space, raising frequency, vibration, activating as many people on this planet as possible, and healing the world, visualizing the world with world peace, protecting our children, our divine feminine. Just it's the time that we've all created to be here. It's an important time, and we're all here, and we've created this reality. And let's hold this space for the planet.
Thank you so much, Adrian. And hey, we didn't mention Jeremy, but give our best to Jeremy. We're at the end of the night. Yeah, the other half of all of this. And so thank you so much. What a great show tonight. The website is right there at jimmychurchradio.com. Thank you, Adrian. And it is DisclosureFest.org.
Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Rita. Send my love.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Adrian, safe travels out to Washington, D.C. Faded Black's executive producers, Rita Camurian. Shows produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers, Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. It's broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I want to thank Richard Yiap, Poranguí, Clifford Mahooty, Billy Carson, Michael Salla, and who do we have up first? Or is that everybody? Did that cover everybody? I think I got everybody. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Everybody have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Be safe. Go back, Lee Tepe.